News Weather Forecast Bulletin, International Climate Overview, September 5th. Good day to all our viewers tuning in to the weather news program. Today is September 5th, and together we will review a dynamic international climate picture, filled with remarkable phenomena, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, from tropical storms at sea to extreme weather events across the United States and Canada. All of these elements intertwine, creating a scene that is both intense and complex, reminding us that nature always carries unpredictable surprises. Let us begin with the latest updates on Hurricane Kiko in the Pacific Ocean. At present, Kiko remains a strong storm, but weather models consistently indicate a rapid weakening in the coming days. The reasons come from a twofold impact: first, increasing vertical wind shear; second, colder sea surface waters in the northern Pacific. When these two factors combine, the storm lacks the energy to sustain its strength. Experts forecast that Kiko will only be able to maintain winds at the level of a weak hurricane, around 120 km per hour, 75 miles per hour, before downgrading to a tropical depression with maximum gusts of only about 80 km per hour, 50 miles per hour. What is noteworthy is that Kiko's track is gradually shifting northward. This means that Hawaii, where many feared heavy impacts, may only experience minimal effects. A few scattered showers and light winds are now the most likely scenario. The impact on daily life and the economy is expected to be negligible. This is certainly positive news, as Hawaii is highly vulnerable to intense storms. Looking further ahead, models are also suggesting the possible development of a new disturbance in the Pacific. We will continue to closely monitor the situation to bring timely updates. Turning now to the Atlantic. Tropical wave Invest 91L is the center of attention. This system is moving westward at about 11 km per hour, 7 miles per hour. With current maximum winds near 35 km per hour, 22 miles per hour. At first glance, it may appear weak, but its potential for development is significant. The challenge, however, is that it faces several barriers: strong wind shear, dry air from the Sahara, and fine dust lingering in the upper atmosphere. All these factors have slowed Invest 91L's organization into a tropical depression. Yet, as the system approaches the warm waters of the Lesser Antilles by mid-next week, the situation could change rapidly. High sea surface temperatures and strong convection will provide abundant energy, enabling it to develop into a tropical depression, or even a tropical storm. The U.S. National Hurricane Center has issued its latest outlook: a 60% chance of formation within the next 48 hours, rising to 90% within the next 7 days. This essentially means Invest 91L is almost certain to become a tropical cyclone. The only questions left are when and how strong. Once formed, Invest 91L's track remains highly uncertain. Some models suggest it may curve northward into the open Atlantic, becoming a fish storm that only affects the ocean. Other scenarios show it pushing deeper into the Caribbean, entering the Gulf of Mexico, or even tracking along the U.S. East Coast. As of now, forecast reliability only extends about 4 to 6 days. Beyond that point, model divergence grows significantly, reflecting the atmosphere's complexity and unpredictability. Looking further ahead, from mid to late September, the tropical environment is forecast to become even more favorable. Experts are paying close attention to the Central American Gyre, a vast atmospheric whirlpool in the Western Caribbean, which often spawns late-season storms. The potential for new system development in this region is real, especially if storms enter the Gulf of Mexico where waters are warmer than average. In addition, the MDR, or Main Development Region, off the coast of Africa, will also become more conducive during the latter half of September, meaning the Atlantic hurricane season still holds many risks. Now let's leave the oceans and return to land, where the United States is facing a series of hazardous weather patterns today and tomorrow. On this Friday, scattered thunderstorms have already been recorded widely, with a 2% tornado risk in some areas. Gusty winds may reach 80 to 95 km per hour, 50 to 60 miles per hour, with small hail reported locally. Particularly tonight, Storm systems will intensify, sweeping across Mississippi, Tennessee, and Kentucky, then spreading into Ohio and West Virginia. At the same time, a thunderstorm band will exit Florida into the Bahamas, bringing heavy rain and strong winds. Tomorrow, Saturday, the risk does not subside. A band of severe storms will shift along the East Coast, carrying a low but noteworthy tornado risk, especially in New England, New Jersey, Delaware, and the Delmarva Peninsula. Accompanying this will be damaging winds and hail, which could harm property and disrupt transport. Residents are urged to follow official weather warnings closely and prepare appropriate responses. The U.S. temperature map also shows sharp contrasts. In the south and south-central regions, heat remains dominant, with highs of 32 to 38 degrees Celsius, 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and heat indices reaching 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, particularly in Texas and Louisiana. Meanwhile, the North and Midwest are entering an early cool spell behind a strong cold front. Daytime highs drop to just 10 to 16 degrees Celsius, 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, while mornings feel chilly at 4 to 8 degrees Celsius, 39 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Near the Canadian border, some areas even approach freezing. Out west, conditions remain warm, with many places holding steady between 27 to 33 degrees Celsius, 80 to 91 degrees Fahrenheit. Meteorologists call this phenomenon a false fall, a brief taste of autumn with cooler temperatures. But this does not signal the true onset of the cold season. From mid-September onward, above-average warmth is expected to return across much of the U.S. This highlights the climate's extremes, requiring people to constantly adapt their routines. Canada is also experiencing volatile weather. In Ontario and Quebec, the strongest winds are expected this afternoon as a front passes, bringing storms and showers. Cooler air will then filter in, making the weekend cloudy with scattered rain and lower temperatures. Many residents will feel an early taste of autumn. Northwestern Ontario and Manitoba have already reported chilly rain this morning, while Lake Superior and Georgian Bay effects have caused persistent showers. Eastern Canada, particularly the Maritimes, remains rather warm. Moncton could hit 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit, tomorrow, while St. John's will rebound to around 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Nova Scotia has scattered rain today, but a more beneficial round of rainfall is expected later in the weekend and early next week, helping replenish water after recent dryness. British Columbia just witnessed a historic record. On September 3, Ashcroft registered 40.8 degrees Celsius, 105.4 degrees Fahrenheit, the highest September temperature in Canadian history. Yukon also set a new record, with Carmacks reaching 28.3 degrees Celsius, 82.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Unprecedented for September, these records highlight the clear impact of climate change. However, next week a cool air mass will move into Whitehorse, restoring more comfortable fall conditions. Meanwhile, the prairie provinces of Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba endured strong winds of 70 to 80 kilometers per hour, 45 to 50 miles per hour, yesterday. But today conditions have calmed. Temperatures are stable around 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit, making for pleasant outdoor weather. These conditions are ideal for the much-anticipated football games this weekend, including Stampeders versus Elks and Bombers versus Riders. Still, British Columbia faces another serious concern: poor air quality from wildfire smoke. This condition is expected to persist through the weekend. Only when rainfall arrives next week will air quality improve significantly. It is a stark reminder of the ongoing challenges of wildfires, not only from flames directly, but also from smoke that degrades air and harms public health. In summary, today's weather picture is one of contrasts and complexity. Hurricane Kiko is weakening and poses little threat to Hawaii. Invest 91L is on track to become a tropical cyclone in the Atlantic. Though its path remains uncertain, the U.S. faces a mix of dangerous storms. Southern heat, and northern chill, and Canada is setting records at both extremes, with some regions sweltering in unprecedented heat while others slide into cool, autumn-like weather. Thank you for watching, and see you again in our next updates. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with critical weather information. We will continue to accompany you with accurate and timely forecasts, helping everyone stay proactive in their work and daily life.